Well, hello and welcome back to HODL 2021, a crypto asset conference. My name is Shri Raj Deshmukh and I will be your host for this session. So before we kickstart the session, I would like to thank our title partners ZPay and CoinDCX, powered by CoinSwitch, brought to you by BitBNS, Platinum partner Facebook, partner Chiotis, and Bronze partner Huobi Global. We are now moving on to our next session on crypto opportunities and challenges. I would like to introduce you to the moderator of the session, Mr. Harsh Agarwal, who is the founder at CoinSutra. Next, I would like to welcome the panelists, Mr. Nishil Shetty, CEO of WazirX, Mr. Satvik Vishwanathan, co-founder and CEO of Unicoin, Mr. Jitendra Singh, cyber threat investigator, I4C, Ms. Josephine Chang, head of Asia, MakerDAO Growth Core Unit, and Mr. Sharan Nair, chief business officer, CoinSwitch Kuber. And without any further ado, I would request Mr. Agarwal to take the reins in his hands and kick the session, please.
Thank you, Sriraj. And let me kickstart this session with a few lines that we are living at an interesting juncture of time when the world is undergoing through a fundamental change. The financial and payment system that we know of is changing, and it's being rewritten with the advancement of blockchain and cryptocurrency. But not only that, the reality that we know of is also started to bending with the help of metaverse and virtual reality. And it's just matter of time that we will see an alternate reality or second life, if I may say so. Now with that, today I'm honored to be moderating this panel of panelists, esteemed guests who are from the different walks of cryptocurrency industry. And this is a diverse group of panelists from the crypto industry. Today we have founders and guests from the Indian crypto exchange industry. We have Nishal Shetty, from founder of WazirX, who is also running the 3-year campaign on India Wants Crypto, which is quite popular and has changed the landscape of cryptocurrency in India. We also have Satvik Vishwanath, founder of Unicoin, India first cryptocurrency exchange, and he has a lot of insight to share today. We also have Sharan Nair, who's the chief business officer of CoinSwitch Kuber. We also have an esteemed panelist from the Delhi Police Forces, Mr. Jitendra Singh, who works as a cyber threat investigator. And we also have Jocelyn, who started her career at HSBC as a banker, and now she's dabbling into the world of decentralized finance, currently the head of Asia for the MakerDAO Growth Core Unit. Now let's make this next 45 minutes meaningful and learn from the leaders of the industry. Now for the viewer, wherever you are watching from, you can always use the chat box to ask your question. We'll be paying attention to that, and we'll pick some of the best question from the chat also. Now to start with, my first question is for all the panelists, and let's give the mic to Nishal. And this is an open-ended question. What does your organization do in the crypto space, and what role do you play in your organization?
Hey, thanks a lot, Harsh, and pleasure to be here. I think it's a much-needed conference where everyone across the industry is participating. So, sort of a neutral ground with IAMA hosting this, and I think everyone's been wanting this for a long time. Couldn't have come at a better time. To give a short intro about, I'm the founder and CEO of WazirX, and I look at WazirX as that gateway for you to go from the centralized world to the decentralized world, and how we do that is we help you buy your first crypto, and from there you're free to either stay on the platform or you go to other decentralized exchanges and decentralized products. We've been here online for around 3.5 years now, and we've got over 8 million users. And my role in the organization is as a CEO, a variety of things. One is strategy, the other is and most of it is putting off whatever fires are there around you. And in crypto, there are a lot of fires to put off. So I try to focus on those areas. And then in general, I run India Wants Crypto campaign. I personally think that, and our company's mission is to onboard everyone in India to the crypto ecosystem. So I've been focusing on that.
Okay, Satvik.
Yeah, so I'm Satvik Vishwanath. I'm an MBA from University of Melbourne, and we started Unicoin in 2013 with the aim to bring the access to Bitcoin to 1 billion people, which is for all Indians. So we are already a 8-year-old company with a team size of about 42 of us and serve about 14 lakh customers. So my role here in the company is I'm the CEO. So it kind of any problem that will not get solved with the rest of the employees would eventually come to me. It's like as simple as that. So I'll be the last person to look at anything and most complicated things. And I also do actively engage in hiring to some extent and also for fundraising for the company. Thank you.
All right, moving the needle to Sharon.
Hi, my name is Sharan. I am the Chief Business Officer at CoinSwitch Kuber. We like to think of CoinSwitch Kuber as the Swiggy of cryptocurrency. We believe we are the easiest platform for users, retail users, to onboard into the crypto world. We are a 1 year and 3 month old company. We have about 10 million users today, backed by the likes of Sequoia, Tiger, and some of the large VCs out there. I look after as a chief business officer. I look after the business, and what's business when the industry is not regulated. So a large focus of mine today is on regulations and policy.
Okay, Jocelyn, over to you.
Thanks, Harsh. Hi everyone. My name is Jocelyn. So I'm the APAC growth lead for MakerDAO protocol. So the project was actually launched late in 2017. So we have been around for at least like 4 or 5 years. We are like one of the oldest DeFi project in the whole crypto space. And like for those of you who don't know or who have not heard about what MakerDAO is that we are the creator of DAI stablecoin, which is pegged to the US dollar, like any other stable coins out there, except that we are decentralized. We are backed by crypto assets and also real world assets today. So allowing users to actually pledge their cryptocurrencies and also real world assets in the protocol itself to actually generate loans. So instead of going to the bank, you can actually go to Maker Protocol to just borrow loans from the protocol itself. And we have about 6 billion DAI in total circulation today. The team are very spread out. Like, we have about 50, 60 people. The foundation dissolved in May. And then right now we are full DAO, which is a decentralized autonomous organization. So I'm actually working for the growth core unit where we focus on business development, and my role is to cover business development activities in Asia Pacific and also Middle East. I mean, recently I just moved from Singapore to Dubai in February. Yeah.
Thank you, Jocelyn. So my next question is for Sharan, and then I would like all others panelists to take care of this question. Is what are the various opportunities available for an individual in the crypto space? How do you from the where you are sitting at, what all opportunities do you see?
I think India is going to play a very crucial role in the crypto ecosystem, right? I think the first step is just getting onboarded to exchanges and buying crypto. I think that's definitely the first step. But I think going further, we're seeing a lot of developments come around in DeFi, NFT spaces, and Indians, because we also are a hub of the largest number of engineers in the world. And I think there's a lot of potential for Indian developers to kind of go and build a lot of stuff on these new upcoming spaces like NFT and DeFi. So the way I see it today is that although the beginning is just in the exchanges, but going forward, I think we're going to see a plethora of options open up, and it's happening faster than we think.
Okay, thank you, Sharan. Nishal, what's your take on this?
Look, I think when I look at crypto, it's a lot like and the traditional financial systems. It was more like you're playing in a local game. It was just in your country, and crypto gives you that opportunity to be at a global stage and be involved in the whole financial ecosystem globally. And I think that's an interesting opportunity, which is probably why the younger generation is so charged up about that compared to the traditional systems. And one of the most important thing to look at is whenever the young take on to something, it's always ended up becoming the default eventually over time, be it the internet, any part of technology. And that I think should be seen by India as a signal to get into this ecosystem sooner than later. And I think the opportunities are immense. First is if you look at India's growth in the last 10 years, technology played a very large part in that. And I think crypto has that opportunity to replicate that, give India the opportunity to repeat what it did with software. We could do that with crypto, which means all of us should skill ourselves. So I think skilling is going to be one of the most key important factors for India. Apart from that, I think the financial access. If you look at the interest rates today in India versus the rest of the world, capital is not as cheap in India as in other parts of the world. And I think crypto can sort of bridge that gap of the capital divide that exists today between developed nations and developing nations, and India can take a large advantage from that. So I'm net really positive about India's chances in this whole crypto ecosystem. And I think while the world thinks that we are probably slow to this, I think we're just coming right on time, and it's going to expand rapidly. You've seen the growth of some of the Indian startups in crypto in the last 12 months. I think this is just the beginning. It's going to grow really rapidly. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned about that the technology has been the driving force for India growth in past 10 years. And I'll just tweak the question for Satvik here. That Satvik, what do you think that is India ready for the adoption of cryptocurrency in the country, or are we going to see the brain drain like the way we have seen in the past?
Yeah, I strongly think that, see, I mean, first we have to think what is that the crypto currency brought to the table, right? So it is as simple as creating a system to do the worldwide transactions free and fast. It's as simple as that. And now when it comes to India, the general thought process that we have as far as regulations, etc., has been that it probably will be more seen as an asset or a commodity. So which essentially means there will be challenges, or there may be even, say, like, should not be happening for when it comes to the currency part of it, where people are using that to do the payments for buying something, right? So if that is the case, then I'm just afraid that we probably will end up being the people, like an audience, looking at how the rest of the world is adopting crypto for doing the payments. But the good thing is, at least we'll be able to take the advantage of it by being invested into it, right? So this is our facility. It's like, you cannot work for Apple, but you can have the shares of Apple by being in India, and then you can take some advantage of the growth that the company is doing in the rest of the world. So that's what it looks like to me. But going forward, there'll obviously be engineers, and it could be law firms. I mean, it could be like a complete ecosystem in India that is already built up, right? So I don't think all pieces of that would be required, as long as if the country only sees this to be an asset class, or like just a commodity where you just buy it like real estate and sell it as real estate, right? So that would mean there would be obviously people who I wouldn't really say that they would go to some other country and settle. Nowadays, like, everyone is working already from home, and now the countries and even companies have very well adopted for it. So there will be more and more people from India working for the international companies than the advantage that we as Indians will be able to take for our country itself is how I see this as.
So essentially what you're saying is that the threat for brain drain is not as much as how it used to be in the past.
That is not only true for crypto, it's actually true for any other industry, because now people are very well adopting to keep the entire team across the world, right? So it's no more a huge, I mean, two years ago it's different, and now it is different. And obviously the reason is not crypto, the reason is pandemic. So if we are saying the brain drain means the people, I mean, the person has to go out of the country, then that chances could become slimmer. But if you're talking about the people who are working for international companies, so their potential is not absorbed by the country itself, then yeah, it has not changed. It definitely will happen.
Okay, we'll get back to that question and we'll continue this discussion. It's very interesting. But I want to ask Jocelyn, because you are sitting in international water, and what are the opportunities that you are seeing throughout the globe that an individual can adapt and grow themselves?
Before touching on, global opportunities, I would like to add on to, the rest of the panelists were saying. So, I mean, we started actually working with a lot of Indian-based crypto projects, for example, like InstaDepp and also Matic, Polygon now. So like about, I think 2 or 3 years ago. So there are a lot of immense of opportunities in India, I must say. And also, I think to Nishal was mentioning earlier on, there's a lot of engineers, there's a lot of talents, developers talents in India. I think that's what we see. That's what I'm gonna see. A lot more crypto projects actually coming out from India itself. So global wise, I mean, DeFi actually has been making waves, over the last several months. Actually started mid-June last year, and offering DeFi services that can compete with what the banks is offering. And a lot of European countries interest rates are actually negative. If you were to basically deposit like say 100,000, you have to pay say a few $100 or a few thousand to the banks to actually keep your money. So this whole DeFi yield that is very very that is very that is very generous. I think that's what it's luring people into the whole crypto space itself. So DeFi is just one, right? I mean, like it has grown quite a bit. Like I started actually working for MakerDAO in late 2017. I've seen how far DeFi actually DeFi actually grown, starting from 100 million in total value locked up to today. We have about I can't remember, like probably say 2 to 4 billion. Yeah, I can't remember. So I mean, so DeFi is just one aspect, and then we have like art NFT, where they actually revolutionize the whole art scene. And then we start to see a lot more gaming initiatives, play to earn gaming initiatives that actually takes off in Philippines, where there are a lot of poor people, and Axie Infinity, a blockchain gaming platform, actually allows them the opportunity to actually play while they earn. So this is something that that is unfolding slowly, over the years as well in the whole cryptocurrency space.
All right. So play to earn, NFT, and DeFi
Yeah.
space are the three
Yeah.
major pillar according to you. Cool.
Yep.
Anyone wants to add anything on the opportunities? Okay, perfect. Yes. So I have this question for Jocelyn. Like Jocelyn, you moved from traditional finance to decentralized finance. What made you make this move? What are the changes and bigger change that you have seen between these two industries, or these two part of the same
Yeah.
industry?
Okay. What is the biggest changes? The biggest differences between the two industries? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I used to work for HSBC, as a banker, and then it was very long time ago. And then I started dabbling into a lot of different industries after that. And then and in I think 2017, that was when I started going to a lot of meetup events, in Singapore. And one of the meetup event that I went to, the first event that I went to was actually a crypto event that is organized by a decentralized exchange. I don't know if they're still around. And then and then I started actually, reading about Ethereum in late 2017, and that was what led me down, the whole rabbit hole of, kind of discovering MakerDAO as well, which seemed to be really exciting, and something that I thought that would actually change the world in a very good way. And indeed, like we have people in Latin America starting to actually adopt DAI, use DAI as the medium of transfer, just because their national currency is very very volatile. It's actually way much more volatile than Bitcoin. But obviously, you don't want to use Bitcoin. I know that certain countries are starting to actually adopt Bitcoin as the currency. Yeah, so that is the changes that I wanted to be part of, and I started to switch full time to the space during 2018. I think the biggest changes would be, I think, regulation, and also how fast the space actually evolved. People keep saying that if you actually work in fintech, like 1 year, it's like maybe 1 year is equivalent to like maybe 5 years in the working for the banks, but in DeFi is even way much faster. So like every month, like all these DeFi protocols are pushing out like different features, different functions, It's very competitive. So I think being able to actually adapt, to the whole evolving scene is also something that I'm trying to actually, trying to yeah to get hold of. Yeah, still today.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you. When will India officially draw the regulation for framework for crypto regulation? And this is one question I believe everyone sitting in this audience, in the audience, and even me has in mind. Now let's ask the leader of these crypto exchanges, because they are the one who are dealing with the regulators. They are the one who is opening a dialogue and continuing the dialogue. So, how your the experience or dealing with the regulator has changed and or evolved, if I may say, over time. Let's give the mic to Satvik.
Yeah. So if I want to talk about the regulators and enforcers, right? So I have to go back to see when we started our platform in 2013. We did it in a conference called Global Bitcoin Conference. I mean, that was the first cryptocurrency, in fact, Bitcoin specific conference we held. It was the first one in all over Asia, in fact. So when we did that, we also did invite the guests from Reserve Bank of India, it could be CBI, CID, Crime Branch, SEBI, and like most of the other regulators and enforcement agencies, right? And most of them did turn up. They were there to just learn about, like, okay, they probably would have heard about it in the past because it was quite popular in the other countries and it would have obviously like caught their attention. So they were there, and in fact, Reserve Bank of India, where we had a representative from it, after they went back, I think just after like 4 days, they gave out the first notice to the general public, saying that, okay, we understand there is something called Bitcoin that exists, and it has risks in, I mean, there is financial risk, then there are security risks, then there are legal risks, and do it at your own, discretion, kind of thing, right? So that is actually the first in 2013 December. That's when we actually saw the first notice from Reserve Bank of India addressing public. And just after that, 2 days down, I think like 29th of December, I guess, we had about 30 officials from IRS who did come to our office. And our office was so small, we just were like 5 employees at the point of time. And it was a little stressful in the way we had to answer, because at the end of the day, if you're talking about 2013, then almost people did not have much knowledge about Bitcoin. And when I'm talking to general public, like someone, if I cannot explain what is Bitcoin in like 5 minutes, they'll just walk away. When I was just standing in some kind of conferences stall and try to explain what it's all about. So that kind of like, at least the public perspective have significantly changed it to what it is today. And the media have done a great job in telling the same thing again and again, like how it works, etc. The speculation that they're doing is definitely not on technology, but they are more doing in terms of what will India look at it as eventually. But yeah, so coming back to the Reserve Bank of India notices, so after 2013, they also did give out that same similar notice for 3 more times till 2017. And in April 2018, they came up with the notice to the bank saying that they should stop supporting the cryptocurrency exchange, the giving any kind of services to cryptocurrency exchanges on its customers. So that was actually like the lifeblood, I think, because the way we had structured our business was where we were making it very easy for our customers to just get onboarded and get their access to Bitcoin with minimum kind of friction. So just after that, the bank services went away, and we tried to do something innovative, but it didn't go well. So we tried installing something like a kiosks, which could accept money from our customers and give out money to our customers, whoever want to deposit and withdraw. But however, that was eventually seen by some of the crime branch people as that we are trying to hack into some kind of banking system by having our own ATMs and such, which was not true. Then we had to take. I mean, we were taken. Me and my co-founder were taken to the station, and we were held for 2 days, where we really had to explain them what we are trying to do. And after 2 days, I think they eventually got convinced and such. And then we had to fight that again in the High Court of Bangalore, High Court of Karnataka, to get it quashed, the issue. So, but on the coming to the notice side of what we received from the RBI, right? So that we had to fight it at the Supreme Court level. Along with UnoCoin, we had other exchanges from India as well who were fighting that through. And it took about, 23 months to eventually fight it and get it back. And since then, as far as the industry is concerned, it looked like everything is back. But even today, there are challenges that we face. It could be, say, a simple KYC verification vendor, right? With them as well, we will have challenges. It could be with bankers, we will have challenges. It could be, it's like a never-ending process of finding solutions and keeping everyone updated, being transparent, etc. But I think the regulation is really, really required. So why I say regulation is required as compared to, see, for example, Uber don't like regulation, or it could be Foodpanda don't like regulation, right? So because in their case, when people pay money, the required gratification is received instantly, or maybe within the same day. But when it comes to cryptocurrencies, right? So people stay invested for a longer period of time. So it's important for them to have proper system in place when they want to exit. Else their money would eventually get locked. So for that, they obviously need some kind of comfort, saying that, okay, if I invest today, even after 2 years, if I want to exit, I will be able to. So that confidence is not there in customers today. It's been like challenging, right? So that is the reason why we definitely need the support from regulators, saying like how they want to treat it as, to come up with some kind of comprehensive regulation following the law of the land, so that the trust is built across the system. This is what I think.
Thank you, Satvik. Nishal, do you think this is changing, or the dialogues has started moving in the positive direction between your exchange and the regulators?
Absolutely. I think, look, what Satvik showcased is the journey of crypto, and if you read between the lines, what you'll realize is it's getting better, and that's a good sign. It's not going downhill. It's like we have less problems today than probably what we had a year ago, or 3-5 years ago, and that's a great sign. And we cannot expect things to change overnight in a technology that is so innovative. And at the same time, it touches two aspects. One is the internet, the other is the financial world. A financial world is heavily regulated, internet is heavily misunderstood. So when these two combine, you can't expect governments or authorities to just accept it. And that's what we are seeing happen right now. And look, crypto is breaking a lot of barriers that previously we all thought were unbreakable. And it's the same for the governments and the local authorities. The good thing I've seen is, probably for the first time, our finance minister spoke about crypto and about regulation on video a couple of times. There have been quite a few questions asked in the parliament, which means what this shows us is that India is already on the path of regulation. And that was the most important, because I think until now, we were not even sure if India would even want to discuss crypto, want to understand and go deeper into it. Now we know that that has started. Whether it will go in the right direction or the wrong, I think that's up to all of us. If we as a community, we are now creating billion-dollar companies in India around crypto. Now that's a great sign to show the government that there is substance in the sector. It's not just about just some side activities or underground activities that are happening. There are billion-dollar companies being created. There are tens of millions of people getting into this ecosystem. There are billions of dollars worth of user assets today in the Indian ecosystem. And I think this work by the ecosystem and the willingness of the government to get into crypto, I think India will eventually go in the right direction of regulation. Having said that, regulation is not an overnight thing. We cannot expect that, let's get it done in 2021. It's not going to happen. If you look at the internet also, internet is still not regulated. We keep asking about regulation, but internet is still not regulated. What is regulated is parts of the internet. And I believe in crypto also, instead of hoping for regulation, what will happen is parts of crypto will get regulated. For example, we talk about CBDC, the central bank digital currency. That's nothing but coming from a regulated point of view, some innovation in the crypto sector. And maybe, there'll be regulation for stable coins first. Maybe there'll be regulations for crypto exchanges. And I think that's the kind of regulation that India will bring in. Though I think what I'm hoping for is guidelines to come before regulation. And guidelines are fairly simple for any country to lay out, which will make sure that the good startups don't have to worry. Users and customers don't have to worry, while the bad actors stay out of this ecosystem, because we are dealing with finance, and in the absence of any guideline or regulation, there is going to be negative effects of that. I think to a large extent, as an industry, we've sort of pushed for awareness, and we've been able to keep it at bay, but we can't really go and police the products out there. So the best way would be for India to get some guidelines, and I'm hoping for that to come before regulations.
Sure. So for that guideline, is the active conversation being happening between the regulators and the exchanges? Sharon, Anishal, you can take this if you want to. Go ahead.
No, I think I mean the thing is, it's never one dialogue. There's never, especially for crypto, it's not one authority where we know that we have to knock on this door and get it done. So what is happening is there have been multiple dialogues happening with multiple parties, and multiple regulators everywhere. So it's all scattered, and I believe eventually it'll all lead to one common path. But I don't think today we know what that path is and who that regulator is, who that authority is to discuss.
Okay, Sharon, what's your thought? What's your experience been?
Yeah, I think what Nishal said, right? I completely agree to that. I think this is a question that very often comes up with all of my conversations, right? When do you think crypto is going to get regulated? And I say when is not important, how is more important, right? Because like what Nishal earlier mentioned, it's not an overnight thing. You cannot really expect, like even if somebody walks up to me and says, okay, why don't you crypto exchanges come up with regulation? I think even we would struggle doing that. Let go regulators who are doing 100 other more important things. But having said that, what the approach that has worked so far is that exchanges coming together and building a self-regulatory code of conduct has been super helpful, because that kind of gives confidence to the regulators that the good industry players are together, working together to come up with and help with the regulations, right? And that's how regulations would eventually come in, because there has to be some point of reference that needs to be given to the regulators. Now, there is obviously a lack of clarity on who the regulator would be. So there are different parties getting involved. But I think one of the good things that all exchanges have done together is that a lot of knowledge sessions have been, a lot of information have been now provided to the regulators in the way we look at it. Earlier there was a huge communication gap. Exchanges talk about something else. We hear exchanges are talking about building crypto as an asset or a commodity. On the other end, regulators were talking about cryptocurrency as a currency, and bridging this gap has come. We have been able to successfully bridge this gap today, and I think we've seen more warm-up approach coming in from regulators. We've seen a lot of key people reach out to understand more about how exchanges operate and how exchanges look at it and how other countries are looking at cryptocurrency. So I think net it's absolutely a positive development.
Nice. Jocelyn, what's your view on this? From India perspective, or even from the perspective of you are dabbling into an industry which is world has not seen. So did you face any challenges from the regulators, and how did you overcome those?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like when I used to be based in Singapore, right? I mean, there's only one single regulator that we deal with, which is the Central Bank of Singapore, Monetary Authority of Singapore. So it's pretty easy. They have a guidance, they have a framework, and then now it's called Payment Services Act. So they require all the exchanges that are based in that are registered in Singapore to apply for this licensing. So all the centralized crypto exchanges have to actually have to submit an applications under the Payment Services Act to obtain a license. But before the applications actually get approved, they are allowed they are allowed to actually sell the services to users, under the within the sandbox mode. So they're exempted before they actually get the licenses itself. So when I actually came to like Dubai, right, I was actually navigating through the whole regulatory framework, which is very, very complex, because they have like different authorities to what I think Sharon was saying, and also Nichelle. There's so many different regulators. Even like in the US, there's also like a financial action task force called FATF that are trying to actually implement travel rules, for all across the board, requiring centralized exchange to, to attach this encrypted data to all the transactions, and send it to like different exchange. When a user actually perform a transaction. But the thing is, the problem that I see is that there's a sunrise issue here, right? I mean, every different country, they have different regulatory frameworks, and then they also have like different speed of adopting the regulatory the rules itself. So for example, this travel rule that I was just mentioning, it is supposed to be AML, a counter financing of terrorism initiative, but I think it has not been really taking off, just because like all the different countries and different jurisdictions, they are actually implementing at different pace, and yeah, so you can't make that happen if every country is actually implementing at different phase. So yeah, I mean that's just centralized exchange. For decentralized exchange, because MakerDAO, we do have a decentralized exchange. We started building it when we first launched DAI, and then I know that regulators is actually coming after like DeFi now, and I also know that there are a lot of DeFi protocols out there, trying to be compliant, talking to regulators, and see if they want to KYC the customers. I don't know. I don't know if that is the way to go, because DeFi, decentralized finance, is supposed to be like decentralized, right? Yeah. So and yeah, and I mean, so DeFi, we are also waiting for regulators to start regulating all the protocols. That's what I
Yeah,
see.
sure. Thank you, Jocelyn, for that answer. I think like it could be a very detailed topic discussion on
Yeah.
do DeFi need KYC? But let's take a few questions from some of the our audience. So this question is for Jocelyn. Jocelyn, when it comes to starting crypto projects and investing in such projects, how would you compare the environment in Dubai versus Singapore?
So you mean the environment between Dubai,
First,
Middle East, and also Singapore?
yes.
Okay.
From starting a crypto project or from investing in crypto project perspective?
I think in Singapore, the government is trying to make it very, very, crypto friendly. So, like I mentioned earlier, they have a very clear guidance and framework, and also, like a law to actually allow registered exchanges to operate outside. In Singapore, actually. So therefore you start to see a lot of international exchanges, for example Coinbase, Kraken. They all have a proper setup in Singapore, because the guidance is actually clearer. So they would prefer a clearer guidance rather than like basically looking for like different loopholes and then operating the exchanges. Yeah. So but here in Dubai, I think I'm still trying to navigate like what are the different authorities that a crypto project will have to go through. It's a little bit unclear still, as a for a crypto project, or maybe because like I just moved here like 6 months ago, and also yeah, I mean, as a stable coin provider, we are a technology builder, right? I mean, we are not supposed to be regulated, so it's a little bit different from like centralized exchanges, or like even like DeFi DEXs as well. So yeah, I think that's the key difference between Singapore and also Dubai or Middle East.
All right. Now
Yeah.
the next question is from Sandy. How can an investor educate themselves on the risk of participating in the crypto ecosystem? Nishra, do you want to take that first?
Yeah, I think as an investor, diversification is going to be the most important thing that you could, take on your portfolio. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And diversification involves, one is crypto should be a part of your investment thesis. It should definitely be, because it's while it's high risk, it's also high return. The other is within crypto also. Again, you need to diversify between different kinds of crypto categories. Put some into assets, some into utilities. Within utilities, you have so many different varieties. Now there is NFTs coming up. So think about it. The groundwork has to be done in terms of who are the teams behind these projects. What is the utility? What is the use cases? What are these being used for? Are people aware about these projects? Are there people using them? So I think it's not just about what I've seen a lot of times is people allocate. I want to invest, let's say, X amount into crypto, and just get in, sign up, and just buy whatever crypto they can see in front of them. So don't do that. Spend some time, research. Don't FOMO. There's no need to be in a hurry because this is about a long-term, game. It's not a short-term. There are wild fluctuations, and it's going to be just luck that you're going to play with. But in a 3 to 5 year period, you're still way too early. Why I say don't FOMO is there are about 120 million people in crypto. There are 4.73 billion people on the internet. So you're still less than 3% of the population that's getting into crypto. Very early days. But just make sure that, don't get in on day one and invest everything. Spread it out. I think that's the biggest lesson for an investor.
Good. So diversification and no FOMO, only JOMO. JOMO is joy of missing out. Now, Satvik, what's your thought on from the security perspective? That how much an investor should be aware about the security of their crypto assets and what all they should be learning about?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I want to add to what Nischal was adding is that people should not take loan to get into crypto. It's like super risky. Okay, so but when it comes to the security part of it, so they need to make sure that they have the antivirus or whatever required tools installed in their mobile phone or laptops. That's like really important because someone else could be actually looking at the keystrokes of the OTPs or passwords being provided, so something can really get stolen away and such. And people should eventually become familiar with maintaining their own keys, right? So they should know how to use hardware wallet or maybe some kind of paper wallet, some kind of offline wallet. So it's kind of required because initially when they are investing, it could not be a lot of money, but eventually over a period of time, there is a good chance that if they did the right decision, the right choices in investing whatever they wanted to invest, it could actually become valuable. So it's also important that when it becomes valuable, they still have access to it. Like for a lot of people, they encrypt it, then forget the passwords, or they lose the places like wherever they have kept these kinds of wallets and private keys and such. So that's like super important not to lose. And there are multiple mechanisms, right? So there is something called multi-signature that people can do. So where they can give one to their friend, one to their parents, and one with them, with themselves, so that just in case if something goes wrong, there is always a way to again, get these kind of cryptos. So that should be used. Me personally, if you ask, I use a couple of like hardware wallets. It's like easy to use. And whenever you want to use it more frequently, the paper wallets and such, makes it comparatively difficult to make it happen and such. Yeah, that's what I think.
Thank you, Satvik. Sharon, question for you. How much crypto asset, like if an investor has invested 100% in the crypto asset, how much percent?
I think they shouldn't keep it on an exchange, right? Ideally, people should figure out a way to kind of store it with themselves. But I think when you're not investing in large amounts, right, exchanges, to be honest, they do a lot of security work at the back to ensure your funds are safe. I've seen a lot of people being extremely careless about the way they store their cryptocurrencies. For example, some folks do not realize that there is no forgot password option in crypto, right? So you lose your key, you lose it. I think if you're investing in a sizable chunk and that really matters to you, I think you should definitely put more thought into how you want to store it on yourself and not have to rely on an exchange. So I think my first advice would be that.
Okay, so this is going to be a very quick question. I want one word answer from all of you. What is the first word comes in your mind when you hear the word cryptocurrency? Nishal, start with you.
Equality.
Satvik?
Decentralization of power.
Sharon?
Inclusive open financial system.
Jocelyn?
Inclusive finance. Similar.
Freedom, equality, all inclusive. That's beautiful. All right. So I think like we have come to the end of the session. Is that true, Shiraj, or we have time for a few more questions?
Yeah, we are at the end of the session.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for your time. The main takeaway from this session for me is that there are ample opportunities in this space, and we are quite early. Regulation seems to be knocking on the door, which would give retail and institutional access to the crypto assets in the future. It seems like we are yet to experience the most exciting time of our crypto journey. With that, I would like to thank all the panelists and IAMAI for hosting HODL 2021. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Harsh.
Thanks, Harsh.
any last word you guys want to add, please? This is your time. Okay.
Just stay home.
I'll go
Safe.
quickly. No, I think I always say this, that take advantage of being an early mover. If you're watching this, if you're in this, I think you're still very early. Just take advantage of that. You don't get that opportunity always.
Lovely.
The last thing I would like to say is, and the thing that I tell everybody, including my family, is do your own research.
Hashtag DYOR. Definitely. That goes without saying. Thank you.
From the end, I want to say that don't lose access to your cryptos.
Get a hardware wallet.
Someone in crypto for 8 years, he definitely knows that.
All right, Jocelyn, last words.
Yeah, I mean, like I myself am actually using a hardware wallet too, but at the back of my mind, right? If one day, I just disappear in the world, there's something that that I'm actually quite worried about. I'm glad that actually Satvic actually brought up multi-sig wallet. Maybe I should start buying all this wallet and give it to all my family members. Yeah.
Lovely. All right, Shiraj, over to you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week ahead.
Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone,
you so much, Harsh.
for such an
Thanks,
engaging
Shiraj.
discussion. Moreover, special thanks to all the panelists and the moderator for being here and making this possible. And a huge thanks to all the attendees as well who are here with us today. Thank you so much, everyone. So we'll be back in some time, probably 10 minutes for the next session as well. So I would request everyone to stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hiraj. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.